Welcome to Cosmic Imprint, a podcast bringing you weekly goodness as the home of lightworkers, new paradigm leaders, sensitive souls, magical beings, spiritual seekers, and both spiritual CEOs alike, who are ready to live life in alignment with your own soul's truth and who are here to buck the trends, color outside the lines, thriving in this lifetime's incarnation. Join me each week for conversations about all things human design, weaving my own soul magic where I'll share my intuitive gifts, love of all things metaphysical, manifestation, mindset, fifth dimension, spirit guides, light beings, and beyond. Let's explore your cosmic imprint together. Hello, gorgeous goddess. Welcome to this episode of Cosmic Imprint. It is a short fire episode today where I am sharing with you an excerpt from a human design and soulpreneur business Q&A episode that I recorded for the full length episode and training masterclassy vibe. You can actually check out the full video over on my YouTube channel, but here is the short excerpt of the specific question that I was answering, speaking to, riffing on, and I hope you love these. These are a little bite-sized piece of my Mental Projector 4323 channel, just doing its thing, having a look at someone's beautiful questions submitted over on Instagram when I popped up a Q&A box recently and asking questions about how to leverage, utilize, activate their soulpreneur magic, their human design, their unique soul blueprint within their business. So I hope you love this episode. Please sit back and enjoy this quick bite into human design for your soulpreneur business. We are going to start off with this amazing question about how to get anything done when you are a quad right. So a quad right, just for a visual here, I've shown in, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got a little visual up here of what a chart that is a quad right looks like. And essentially it is when all four arrows face to the right. And I've circled them there on the chart so that you can see. Now, you may have any permutation of left and right facing arrows. I myself am what's known as a quad left. So all of my arrows are in reverse to this image I've got up on the screen. And there are two very, very different energetic expressions that come with each of these arrows, depending on whether it faces to the left, depending on whether it faces to the right. The real quick fire, I guess, nugget you need to know if you're kind of looking at this going like, oh, I haven't really paid attention to what my arrows are. If it faces to the left, it's a divine masculine energetic expression, which means, you know, all of the divine masculine energetic representation of logic, structure, order, systems, linear approaches. Like that's the kind of general theme at play. When an arrow faces to the right, it's a divine feminine energetic expression. It is flow, freedom, divine inconsistency, allowing for flexibility, embracing the chaos and enjoying chaos, thriving in that kind of, you know, approach of things can be swirling around and come through very spontaneously. So this isn't to say that one is masculine, one is feminine, one is a male, one is female. This is just an energetic expression and they're kind of like a polarity. So if you could think that, you know, a quad left person in human design, such as myself, really gets, I guess, energized and vitalized in my business when I do things that have got, you know, a great example would be this podcast right here. You know, that my episodes are typically planned out. I've got notes. I've got, you know, slides if I'm doing something that is going onto YouTube, like this episode is. You know, it's got that sense of structure, order, PowerPoint presentation type vibe to it, right? That is the kind of energy that I enjoy, taking notes, having notes available, all of that sort of jam. Quad right energy is the other polarity of that. It is free flowing. It is doing something else at the same time that you're listening. It is absorbing information in a way that is passive and it can happen at any moment. And someone might come along and ask you a question, and all of a sudden you've got this unlocked vault of wisdom and information to share with them. But if you were to sit and try and write it down just on your own, sitting at home with no input from the outside world, you might think, well, I've just got this echoing cavern of nothingness going on inside my mind, which isn't the case. Everything is there. You are so deeply powerful and wise and full of unique insight that is your unique soul magic to share. The thing with being a quad right is that you really are kind of the vault that needs someone to come up to the front desk and ask for your wisdom or ask your insight on something specific. And then it's like the door's unlocked and you're away, and you've got this whole library that you can take them back to. So it's giving yourself that permission that, can you reframe the experience of living as a quad right? When we talk about soulpreneur business, and there is so much conditioning inherent in successfulness or productivity, especially the toxic productivity culture that has come through in soul-based business, it ekes into soulpreneur business as well. We are not immune to the impact of the books that are sort of the ones saying get up at 4:30 a.m. and start your day with these 10 things to do, and you are not a success if you don't achieve 6-figure months or 6-figure years in your business. That's conditioning that we're not immune to as soulpreneurs. So it's understanding for yourself what is the mindset you are bringing to each day within your soul calling work as someone who is a quad right, to go, okay, what conditioning am I consistently working through, releasing, letting go of, empowering myself to understand that actually, even when I am not quote unquote working or doing something that has got a hashtag productivity, energy around it, that you are still processing, thinking, ruminating. I was like, remunerating? No, that's money. Ruminating on things, and all of a sudden that might come forth. All of a sudden something might pop out that is an entire program or offering that suddenly spills forth from your soul. And you've been kicking yourself going, oh my God, for the past 6 months, I've had such lazy days. I haven't been doing anything. I've kind of let everything just flow. I haven't been actively putting any new offers out there, but boom, suddenly you've got this whole thing that just unfurls itself. The visualization that comes to mind is different flower blooms, in the sense that we've got some that bloom all the time. They're always there. They've always got some sort of consistent energetic expression that is their flower, their petals. They're always going on, even within smaller day-to-day cycles. You've then got some flowers that only come along once a year. A peony, for example, you go 11 months without seeing one. It's just the leaves, it's just the roots growing. There's kind of no obvious signs of anything cultivating. And then all of a sudden you have got this most incredible bloom that has popped out from this tiny, tiny little circular head. And it's suddenly this big, lavish extravaganza that appears once a year, So it's kind of giving yourself those reframes, looking at things through a different lens, looking at it with a different perspective, to go, how can I reframe not getting anything done? What am I allowing myself the permission to understand, look at differently, see through a different light? That as long as I am getting out of bed each day, as long as I am going about taking care of myself, I'm nourishing myself. Maybe you've got family, maybe you've got kids, maybe you've got dependents that you look after, you've got a business you're running. If you're in this world, if you're coming into this space, maybe it's up and running already. Maybe you're just starting out. Maybe you've kind of had a few, I don't want to say false starts with like a negative connotation, because I have had a fuckload of false starts myself. But those times when you kind of thought this was the path, and then you kind of realize like, oh no, let's go down this one instead. And, that's giving yourself that freedom and that flexibility, which is what you thrive on, to go, you know what, there are so many things that are happening behind the scenes that I'm trusting in the universe, that 99% of the heavy lifting and the hard work is going on. And my conscious, tiny human 3D meat suit mind doesn't even know the great cosmic potential that is happening behind the scenes. And here I am judging myself for not like getting out my diary and ticking off a list, which ultimately as a quad right is not your zone of genius anyway. It's more going, okay, what is the energy and the intention of how I desire to feel today? Let's go fucking live that. Let's go live my best fucking life, embodying the energy of how I desire to feel in my business. How do I desire to interact with my, as in the energetic interaction with my soul clients or people coming into my world? Do I desire to be answering questions in my DMs? And if that's not a vibe, then who fucking cares, right? You get to make the rules. You get to do things in the way that aligns for you. And it's all about the energetic embodiment, because as a quad right, your manifestation style is to be in the energy and the emotional range of how you desire to feel when your manifestations arrive. It's not in the energy of, here's my list of 10 specific things, thanks universe, I want the car with this color and I want the house with the front door that looks exactly like this. And it's the energy of, it's the emotional connection to, when I wake up in the morning and I go about my soulpreneur business, how do I desire to feel? How does that embodied feeling show up for me? What is my predominant emotional, sense that I'm tapped into? Is my day filled with that kind of flowy ease and simplicity and effortlessness that comes with embracing my human design? Because remember as well, there's going to be strategy and authority that come into this hard as to how you show up within that. But the overarching theme as a quad right is those things of flow, freedom, flexibility, and kind of just allowing yourself to be in that ethereal space without self-judgment, and trusting that everything that is in alignment for you is coming in the right timing, in the right, synchronicities, that it is all already there. And the beautiful possibility is that you get to completely redefine how you show up in your business. You get to do whatever the fuck you want and get to be paid for it and get to be wealthy and prosperous and abundant as fuck at the same time. And this is really something that I dive into a lot in my program Abundant as Fuck, which is all about the integration and embodiment of our energetics as well with our human design in our businesses. So I will link that in the show notes with this episode for you if you want to go even deeper into these kind of topics. There's like 6 hours of masterclasses in that program that go right into all of these things so that you can actually integrate it and embody it, because we're not just here to learn the learnings, we're here to actually do the thing as well, right? So other things that I would say to consider in this conversation about being a quad right and getting things done is, if you could visualize, water. If there is no container to hold that water, to provide a structure around that water, what's it going to do? It's just going to flow freely. It's going to go wherever it can. It's going to flow downhill. It's going to, if you can imagine your kitchen bench, in your kitchen, if there's water on that bench, it's just going to run freely. However, if you have a container for that water, what's it going to do? It's going to fill up. It's going to accumulate. It's going to stay within that container. So can you visualize in your business facilitating that type of containership so that you get to embody being the free-flowing, ethereal energy, the creative, the spontaneous, the, I say chaotic, but it's like good chaotic, right? It's not a negative connotation at all when I say that word in relation to what we're talking about here. It's the spontaneity and the freedom that comes along with, like, hey, a little bit of chaos is actually really empowering for some people. It throws the rule book out the window. It embraces the fact that we get to do things differently and the way we align with, and so on and so forth. So how can you facilitate things in your business to hold your creativity and your flow So that might mean having people who support you, whether that's in terms of like business support or home support, to give yourself the containership that means that things are happening without you needing to be involved. So whether that's a VA doing work, say taking your past content and repurposing it, maybe you are just dumping sort of a whole lot of notes and things that are very kind of, you know, the flow. When you're in flow, you've produced something and it's not refined, it's not polished, it's not formatted or anything like that, but you can just chuck it in a Google Docs folder and you've got someone who is going through, pulling out quotes, pulling out things to make graphics, turning it into, you know, reels, whatever the case may be, right? You could have someone doing that for you if that is aligned for you to invest in that type of support in your business. Or and things like managing payments, you know, clients, all of that sort of work that requires some sort of systemization that you can very, very easily offload to someone else. Yeah. Or it might be support in terms of home front support, whether that is somebody who helps you out with childcare, who is doing meal prep for you, who is even things like you taking advantage of online systems. You know, if you're someone who spends a few hours each week going to the grocery store and like wandering around and, you know, taking your time, looking at the things on the shelves, and you kind of get to the end of the week and you're like, well, you know, it doesn't really light me up, but, you know, I don't mind, it's what I've always done. Or can you use some sort of online ordering system where you know the things that you can just regularly choose, go into your cart, you pick a time, you go and pick it up, you're done. You know, things like that. Or even you can delegate that to, say, your partner if they are going to be in town, or, you know, it can coincide with the time that they're going past the supermarket, whether they have a 9-to-5 job they go to, or whether they also work from home themselves, anything like that. You know, you can delegate those things very easily. And these are all things to start thinking about, to go, okay, there are systems and structures and containers that absolutely can be my kind of skeleton of my business. It means I get to be the flowy, ooey goodness, you know, the magic. And I don't have to constrict that by forcing myself into some sort of rigidity or structure that maybe is the conditioning I've been made to believe that that's the only way to achieve success. Whereas you can still be that free-flowing, you know, fae-like energy. And you can have these things that are the skeleton that holds your business erect, right? You know, our human bodies are, whatever it is, I can't remember, don't quote me, it's like 99% water or something like that. And our skeleton is the thing that holds us all and differentiates us from being just like this cucumber blob on the floor and actually being something that can sit upright and erect. You know, it's not that we have to judge ourselves for the energetic expression. It's learning to work with what we've got and make that work in the best way for us, and experiment. You know, quad rightness is allowing yourself the ability to experiment. You don't have to do it once and then go, oh, well, that didn't work, so it was a failure. You do it once and go, okay, this is what I've learned from that, and now I can move forward with that added information that I've now gained. Yeah, okay, it maybe wasn't quite the right thing, but I've taken one more step towards finding out what does work for me. And that's part of the thing that we have to embrace and go, how can I take aligned action towards what is actually aligned for me? Because if you are never being brave enough to take that step to just experiment and play judgment free, we're never actually getting to that point in time when we realize, okay, I've got my hands in the dirt, I've done it, I've tried the thing out, and I've figured out, okay, this is going to take a bit of refining, but I'm one step closer than I was yesterday. And the other thing I wanted to say was for quad right business, how to actually get anything done is so much of it is the mindset of you're kind of waging that war within yourself of, am I a piece of shit because I didn't do anything today? Or am I an incredibly successful soulpreneur running my badass business? And I did so many things that lit me up, that nourished my nervous system, that made sure I am in my most potent highly activated state, and I sat down at my computer or I was on my phone for like 45 minutes and I produced something that is so fucking potent and magical and is a real distillation of my genius, how can, like, which mindset are you in, and how can you reframe anything that is in that kind of territory of I'm not enough, and how can you reframe anything into that realm of I am more than enough, even if I only spend 5 minutes on my business. In fact, if I spend 5 minutes on my business or creating something for my business, how fucking genius am I? Because I spent 5 minutes, and there are people out there working for like 12 hours a day in soul-sucking, soul-destroying jobs. And here I am spending 5-10 minutes on something, living my best fucking life. And I still have clients rolling in. I still have things that I'm doing. I'm still getting paid for my soul work, even if you're not there yet, you know, because when we're starting out, we have to build up our know, like, and trust factor with our audience. We have to show up over and over again and be prepared to go through those times of when things are maybe not quite, the financial reality of the 3D hasn't manifested, when we are in the early stages of building our business. But if we're in the mindset of it's already done, then that's where we want to be, you know, and really anything that can cultivate that mindset. And so this might be even just having something that's on your notes app on your phone, for example, where you have like an evidence list of here's all the times that I spent 5 minutes creating something, and I then had like 10 DMs flow in of people going, oh my God, you're such my vibe. Like, you're so aligned. I really vibe with you. Or how can I work with you? You know, bank that evidence for yourself. And maybe that's something that you have to sort of integrate into your day in some shape or form. Maybe it's when, you know, you've got a rhythm that you make your coffee and you go for a walk, or you go sit in your garden and you ground your energy. And as part of that, you go, actually, you know what, I'm going to pull out my evidence list and I am going to refresh myself on all the ways that things are working out perfectly. So I hope that that's been really helpful for quad rightness in business. And if anything, it really is the biggest thing you can give yourself is the permission to be a quad right and to embrace being a quad right and to thrive in your quad rightness, because it very much is the complete antithesis of everything traditional business, old paradigm, patriarchal business has taught us. So if you feel like it is a very alien existence, you're not alone in that feeling, because you are living in a spectrum of doing things in a way that is completely new paradigm. And there will have been lots of people who have struggled in the past, you know, over millennia, who have not been encouraged and empowered to live in this energy. And now you are someone who, because you already are here listening to this and you know about this, you're kind of, you know, if you can picture yourself as being a leader for all the other people who need this permission slip to be themselves and to do things in the way that aligns for them, then, you know, that's going to be one of the really empowering things for you in your soul work as well.